Well, good morning from Walla Walla, Washington. I'm Don Dyer, and I'm having a look at some cutters this morning and thought I'd bring you along. So let's take a look at them. And this is the state of things this morning. Okay, I got this horizontal milling cutter here. It's a good size one, 4.845 diameter. Let's inspect this cutter. And I hope you're all doing well and feeling good. I'm feeling better and better. I had like a really bad cold. And I'm still being affected by it, I think. So we'll sharpen that old pencil up here. And a good way to inspect cutters, I'm going to stand up so I don't mess this up, is, okay, I'm going to draw a line here, just about center of the page. Hold it. Ruler's a little bit slick. Okay. Now this cutter, let's see what you can see in there. This cutter has a 1-inch hole, so I'm going to put a mark here. I'm going to do it kind of low. And right about there would probably be okay. And I'll bisect that line. But I want to take and do a 1-inch circle to help center this cutter on the paper. Right about there. And there's the center. Okay. I could adjust it just a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit smaller one in there. Makes it easier to center this thing. I need to extend that lead a little bit. Yeah. Maybe that lead's loose, so it just keeps pushing in. That should be good like that. Okay. I better fix this right now, huh? There. Okay. I don't know if something's loose here or what. Not tightening up. Huh, must have lost something. Well, we'll get another one of these out here. Okay, now I'm going to extend it about this far. And I'm going to put a mark here. And I'm going to put a mark here. Oh, it did. A little nut or something fell off that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. Oh, that's disappointing. Okay, I'll be right back with a new one of these. Well, I was able to repair it. I guess you got to pull on it to tighten it. I don't know. Pick it. It's good. Okay, so I did that circles, 1 inch, then a slightly smaller one, and then I set this up and made these marks here. Now I'm going to extend this further, like a whole bunch, and then I'm going to go off these marks here. Over to this one. Okay. Some basic layout. And we get that right across the X's in the center. At least try to. Right about something like that. Okay. Close enough. So now we set the gear on top here, or not the gear, but the cutter. and get it centered. And you got it centered in the center, and then you want to bring it around and put a tooth right on that line. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to use the gear, or not gear, but I've got gear veneers too, but the cutter angle gauge. And okay, so that's good. And I got the tip of this tooth right on the line there. We don't have to worry about this line here. It just helps. Okay. So I'll get the cutter gauge on here and show you how that works. So for this gauge to work, it's got this sliding part here, and you can flip it around whatever seems to work. This one's a little shorter, and it seemed to work better on this larger cutter. And here's the foot, and it slides like this, and then it goes like that. Here's your scale. So you have to measure it with the teeth going that way, because that's the way the scale goes. So we set it up to 0 and set this thing on the cutter in such a way. You see what I'm saying? That this bar is straight with this line, and it's square. And that's how you arrange that like that. Then you bring this down. I might not have enough room. You got to fiddle with it. Bring the foot down. I'll get the camera right on top of it so you can see where we're at. I see it's right about there, probably close to 7 degrees. Yeah, it looks like 8 or 9. Let me try that again. Yeah, it's right about 7.5 degrees. Let me get the camera right on top of it. You see? Let me move this work lamp a little bit. So let's get that. You got to get the adjusted so these just grab the teeth and keep that bar in the horizontal line here. Or you can actually use the body here, because it's square, on the vertical line. Then you adjust, hold it down with your thumb, and then adjust it. Also helps put a weight on top of it too. Okay. Okay, I think you see what I mean. You play around with this thing. It's just easier to see on paper. Okay? Until you get all this lined up square. Then you bring the foot down on these angles. Okay? Read it on the scale. It's about 7 degrees, I believe. I think I checked. So how's that looking? Yeah, about 7.5 degrees for the primary angle there. Now, there's also a hook angle here too on the face, and that's harder to change. Now, but you can change it if you want to. Now, if you don't have this gauge, you can lay a cutter on a piece of paper here and use the regular drafting tools, right, to get these angles. And then measure them with your drafting protractor. So this one's about 7, you see? So you can mark that. Well, then there's a secondary angle. that you can just almost grab there, and it's steeper. Okay, we'll look at that right here. Now this was a fixture at the plastic mold shop that Rob made for things, and it's really quite accurate, very simple. And it's nice to inspect cutters on. You see I got this dial indicator on the teeth here. And what I was finding, these are some surplus cutters. I think these came from Rob's shop. This one here is a brand new one. And I'm finding the new ones have a little less than 2 thousandths. But these cutters here have been reground, and they're about 5 thousandths out of whack. And so when you operate the machine and cutting, it has an oscillation to it. So I want to regrind these cutters, and let's look at see if I can show the angle here on that. Okay. Now here's your primary clearance angle right here, and I think I can mark it. It's right there on that. A little bit of staining on this, and it's only that wide. I'll do it on this one too. Okay, now the secondary one is right here. So when you're grinding these cutters back, you don't want the primary angle to get too wide because it causes the cutter to work too hard, harder to evacuate the chips. They run cooler, get coolant in there better. So you want to keep that pretty narrow. Now, you can see it right here. Now, this cutter here is a very narrow one, and it's only got the primary one. There's not a secondary one cut in it yet. But as you grind it back, you'll want to keep that primary not any wider than that. See? Maybe you could see it here too if I mark it. I'll block out that secondary angle. I don't know if you can see that. I hope so. Okay. Now, you can change these too. You can change these angles on the cutter grinder for different materials or different machines. You know, like, for example, using milling cutters in the jig bore, I have to grind different angles in those. Okay, now I just thought I'd show you some basic stuff on finding these angles. You can do it on a piece of paper. You don't have to have this tool here. And Starrett makes these. I don't know if somebody made this or what. It's marked LL Duncan. But it does the same thing. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at a vintage professional knife sharpening system. Now this came out of a meat processing plant many, many years ago. So I suppose this would be something, I don't know, 60. Well, let's look around. Here is a Pittsburgh Erie knife grinder. And you can set your edge angles right here. See that? This is kind of a spark arrestor. I guess it kind of helps position the knife. Okay. So, little belt grinder here. And I think that's about self-explanatory. And, okay, let's look at the stones. Up on top is a Norton multi-stone in the oil bath. And what I'm using for oil is number 6 spindle oil after I use it in that high-speed machine over there. So, It's perfectly fine, but you can see it oils those stones very nicely. Now here is the super nice gray hard Arkansas. It's a little different than the translucent. It's a grade finer than the white translucent. It's a gray translucent. And I priced the stone some time ago, and it was probably 25 years ago, and it was $235. But you can see this is really quite old aluminum case for it, hard Arkansas. Same size as the Pro Stones here. There's a bunch of stones and things in these drawers. Various types of stones. Then back here, there's even more. We're going to sharpen this Gerber chef's knife. See, there's Norton Fine Crystalline. And I think there's another combo stone here. Yeah, this is like a fine India and crystalline there. That's a really nice stone there. Okay, so we got these stones. Here's another one here, India stone. I don't know what it's got on if it's a duplex. Yeah, it is. Got a fine crystalline and fine India. All very nice. Okay, let's sharpen a knife here. Oh, this is really interesting. Out of a barber shop, I think, for sharpening straight razors. Corundum. I believe is what that is. It's even got a name on it. D. Bennett. Manufacturer's name on that. Okay. So when you get a knife, this is what happens. They get kind of rolled over the edge here, the feathering. As they're sharpened, it reduces that feathered edge. And generally, I think it's about 2 degrees or a little less for a chef's knife. Let's see what the scale here says. There's about 2 degrees. We'll see how that goes here. And we'll start sharpening this thing. Oh, in case it gets too sharp, check this out. This is something that goes with the territory. A chain mail glove. You'd use that for holding meat and butchering. But anyway, I thought it was a neat thing that it was in there. Okay. Put that away. Do a Michael Jackson thing or something like that, huh? Can you see this? Let me look through the back of the camera. You can see what I'm doing. Move it up a little closer, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So we'll close the hatch here. Turn it on. And start working that edge down. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, see, that's going to give it restore that feathered edge. Big one. This grinder runs relatively slow and very cool. You can see that starting to take shape right there. A little better angle in here. So it you got a dull knife, the first thing you got to do is somehow grind that feathered edge back in. You could do by hand with a really coarse stone, or putting like 220 grit paper over a piece of granite or marble. Or use a belt grinder like this. This will actually get things pretty sharp. A little bit more will go to the stone. Kind of like flipping like that. Very good. Give it right to the tip. Just a couple more here. Okay. Now we'll go to the coarse stone right here. And it is that one right there. And you just start like slicing, hold it about the same angle. You can start moving it and start rotating the blade in. You can feel that edge just start to grab. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of a big knife and it takes both hands. You can feel when it starts getting pretty even, but it's just kind of like you're trying to cut the thinnest slice off the stone. So much time I'm burning it up here. Okay, I'm going to save time, I'll come back. Okay, I just gave that a little bit longer on this coarser stone. Now I'm going to move to this finer crystalline stone, man-made stone here. Same as the other one. And this one's really quite fine, and I like to use it before the fine India stone. This just kind of takes the roughness out. This stone here is very hard. It's a very hard stone. And actually it gets it very, very sharp. A little roughness on that tip there. There we go. You can kind of feel the roughness just come right out of it. Okay. Now let's go to a fine India stone, and I call this good for kitchen knives. And I take and scrape the oil off it. This is spindle oil that I've recycled through a machine, or after I used it in a machine, because spindle oil is really expensive. But it works fine for this. So I take and squeegee that off, the oil off. And then I just give it a few strokes here. And this is a fine India. Norton stones. Okay, let me find a piece of paper here. I don't know if paper's a good way to check if something's sharp, but I don't know. It's pretty sharp. A little rough on the tip there. See, I could work on that. Okay, I'll work on the tip a little bit, and then we'll go out to the shop and have a look. Okay, look at this cool little drill bit, a little stubby. Kind of clipped on the end there. I found an old hardware manufacturing company multi-gauge. It's great for drill bits, got drill bit gauge in there. So I'm going to start grinding on this. I'm going to touch that edge and then dig the heel in. And check it with the gauge. Now it's going to go away. Now, on that, if you hold it like this, you can see a gap. And you want to look and see that angle right here goes downward. Then you know you've got clamps behind that edge. Okay? It's not that hard to do this. And I'm not kidding you. If you can do this, you can sharpen it in now. The end of it in now. People used to do it all the time. Okay. We'll end with that, and I will be back with other weird stuff. Well, you know, I'm one of the old guys that actually does stone drill bits. And it's like sharpening a knife. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And it should shave a thumbnail. Oh, and it does. Okay, let's stick it in here and see if it'll drill a hole. I have a thin steel wedge, and I can put a hole in it, and I can hang it up on a pegboard and find it. Get that in there. Okay. I'll put a little lube on it, too. A little wax lube. There's even some tap magic in there. Okay, flip it on. And drum roll. Will it drill? It drilled. Alrighty.